Thank you, Janine. Hi, Janine.
Hi, Wynter.
How is everyone today? Good.
We've been talking about Christmas time.
Yes, of course. It's like that time of the year, isn't it, when everyone's feeling exhausted.
Yeah, and looking forward to the break.
Yes. So I'm hoping that this webinar is going to be a nice uplifting one for everyone. And just a few things before we start. I pulled a white line card, which I always do before each webinar, and the one that I pulled for message for the group on the webinar was Destiny. I don't know if you can see it in my camera. Destiny, and the writings about it, well, just the short explanation is: shift your consciousness, thereby change your destiny. And this is basically what we're doing when we work with in these realms with spirit guides, be they who, in whatever form they take. It's shifting our consciousness from the physical into the more the spiritual world, so to speak, and working together with both. So without further ado, I think I'm going to I've said hello to everyone. It's lovely to see you all here. We had quite a few registrations for this webinar as well, so there's about half of you online now, so that's lovely. So just while I switch my camera off and get my mic sorted, you just make yourself comfortable and you can gaze at this beautiful picture of Mandla. All right. Okay. So just take a deep breath in. Slowly breathe out. And then just start breathing quite deeply and slowly. As you breathe in, you're breathing in a beautiful rose gold light. And as you breathe out, you're breathing out any discomfort, any heaviness, any negativity. And you can see that leaving you as a dark cloud. And then as that leaves you in that breath, it is transformed into that beautiful rose gold healing light. And then you breathe that light in. So just take a few breaths like that. And then as you're breathing, take your focus down into your heart space and feel that beautiful, unconditional love that you have for all animals, for all of nature. And just give a thought to all your loved ones at this time and send out those waves of love. And then as you breathe in the waves of love coming back to you. Feel yourself connected with all beings. And then feel that energy of love surrounding you and keeping you and the fellow participants in this webinar completely warm and protected. Supported and held. And we invite all beings in to join us, knowing that only love exists here. And feel that oneness of being. Feel that connectedness. And then just become aware of your breath. And become aware of your feet planted firmly on the ground. as we slowly open your eyes and become centered and focused for the next hour or so, as we start listening to the guidance of other realms. Okay, everyone. So I just want to speak a little bit about the concept of animal spirit guides. And I first experienced this when I did my very first workshop in animal communication with Amelia Kincaid. And she led us all in a similar meditation that we're going to be doing today on meeting your animal spirit guide. And I found it really quite overwhelming at the time because I'd never consciously sought that connection. But who came to me was, of course, a lion. And then this reminded me that ever since childhood, whenever I've felt like unhappy or in need of support, I'd always think of lions and I'd have dreams about them. And I always felt guided, especially in my dreams. And I'd sometimes dream about a big adult male lion or a lioness, or sometimes even cubs, or sometimes a whole pride of lions would really show me that they were with me. And I always felt loved and supported and like they were my family. And only when I was consciously connecting with my animal spirit guide did I realize the significance of all my lion dreams. And of course, I've always loved lions, and my dream as a child was to work with them. And because of various reasons, I was told that no, I'd never be able to work in the African bush, and my science marks weren't good enough to, study zoology or veterinary. But look where I am now. I have ended up working with the most amazing lions in Africa. So I'm very, very blessed. And I truly believe that my lion guides have supported me throughout my life and specifically throughout my work with animal communication. And of course, when I met the physical lion prides at the White Lion Trust, I recognized my family. And Mandla, of course, who I know comes to many people now that he's in spirit, he was like my father. I felt like he was like my father when I met him for the first time. And I was fortunate enough to know him for nearly 10 years. So, of course, he comes to me as well, along with Mara and along with other forms of lions when I need them. So, although what I need to tell people is that you don't need to know your animal spirit guide to be able to communicate with all animals. And that's something that people worry about if during a meditation they can't find their animal spirit guide, or they don't, if it doesn't come to them easily. Don't worry about that. They'll come to you in other ways, perhaps during dreams, or just maybe even in physical form. So don't have any anxiety about who you meet when we do the meditation a little later. So, of course, working with animal spirits from other realms is an ancient indigenous tradition from the Khoisan people, the Zulu people, all the African tribes do feel that their ancestors will come to them in animal form, and usually a wild animal, of course. And that is just one of the way. And then, of course, there's the Native American Indian ways of totem animals, who I don't know that tradition very well at all, but it's probably the most common known of all animal totems or animal guides in the Western world that has been shared. It was interesting because I was searching for images online today for African animal spirit guides and ancestors, and there's very little out there in the public domain. So it's very much a tradition that is shared orally and not made well known. It's not well known, and probably Credo Mutwa was the only person who has really published the ancient beliefs and traditions of the old tribes. So this isn't anything new that we are exploring today. It really stems from an ancient way of being from the First Nation people. So what I feel helps people who are studying animal communication or wanting to connect with animals and nature, how connecting with your animal guides or with the other realms beyond the physical helps, is just to, like the destiny card says, shift your consciousness to be aware that there are other energies that are beyond the physical, that are there to support us. And your guides, remember, they can take on different forms at different times. And what I want to share with you, I'm going to share with you a few examples before we do the meditation of people whose guides are actually, I remember one person in one of my workshops a couple of years ago, she got really upset because all she saw when she did the communicate with the meditation was archangels. And now she is very connected to archangels, but she was very upset that they didn't come to her in the form of an animal, which is what, you know, the intention was. But that's okay. That was wonderful to have archangels as your guides, you know. So your guides that come may not come in animal form, and that's really, really okay. They may come as different animals at different times. You know, you might have a lion or a hamster or a squirrel or a mouse, depending of the message that you need at that particular time. So what I'm asking you to do in this hour while I'm speaking is just to be completely open to whatever messages are out there for you. You're in a very safe space. We're very connected here. We're connecting to the other realms, but the realms of nature who are supporting us with that unconditional love. So just be very open. And of course, that last point, you may have more than one guide. And so enjoy that, explore that, and see who comes to you when you ask them to. So again, just to say, it's important to have no expectations. Whoever, you know, most people, they want a lion or a bear or, you know, a black panther. They're expecting, or a wolf, someone that they've kind of have a real connection with in the physical life. And then when they do the meditation, perhaps a little mouse or a snake or a butterfly comes and they try and push it away. What I'm saying is, don't push it away. They've got a message for you at this particular time. So listen to their message. Be aware of what the form that your animal guide takes at that moment. What does it mean to you? What does it feel like when you're in their presence, in the meditation, or even when you're in the physical presence of that kind of animal? If that kind of animal actually exists on this plane, this physical plane. And really trust whatever comes. And I'm saying imagination, if you could see me in inverted commas, go wild. Because remember, imagination is inspiration. It comes from somewhere. So you are really working with the energy. The intention is to be introduced to your spirit guide or to reconnect with them again, if you already know them. And then, of course, take the strength from the support through their guidance. So really just enjoy this experience this evening or this morning, wherever you are in the world, or this afternoon. So one of my interesting experiences with an animal guide was when I was living in England, and Oxford TV channel had heard about my work, and they wanted to do a live interview with me communicating with the dog on camera. Now, I'd only been doing this work for about 3 years, so I was still considered myself a novice. So I was really, really nervous. I'd never been on TV before, and this was, England. It wasn't little South Africa. So obviously, I went to the studio, and actually, before I went to the studio, I decided to do this meditation. It was Amelia's meditation that I had on CD, and I was expecting support from my lion guide, but who came was a giraffe. And the message I got from the giraffe was, hold your head up high, which is obvious, isn't it? Hold your head up high. So I thought, okay, yes, I must just be strong and, hold my head up, and I can do this and it will all be good. And then I got into the TV studios, and there was like a little waiting room where all the people that were going to be interviewed were sitting, and they had a television on in the waiting room. And what program was on the television but a program about giraffes? So it was just another confirmation of the message that my guides were telling me. So that was just a lovely story that I always remember, that feeling of seeing the giraffe in my meditation, then going into the studio and seeing the giraffe on television. And that's no coincidence. That was really just a beautiful confirmation. So sometimes our animal spirit guides will come in a form of an animal that we know or knew that has passed. So we spoke about Mandla, who was very much alive when I first met him. But for a lot of people, you've only met him in the spirit world. This picture is of my cat Sunshine, who passed, was it last year? Last year, the 10th of October. And she comes to me sometimes in spirit when I'm needing a bit of guidance, and she was always my teacher, and a lot of my students communicated with her as part of their learning. So she was a great teacher. So she often comes to me now that she is in spirit. So that's what I'm saying, but really be open about who comes to you when you ask them to. And this little hamster, this is a very funny story. I was doing a workshop at the White Line Trust, and it was quite a big group. And one of the participants was this really big bear of a man. And he was quite skeptical of all this, and his wife had dragged him along, but he was enjoying being there, and he was loving connecting with the lions, loved animals. And we did this animal spirit guide meditation in the group, and afterwards everyone shares what animal they received and what message they received. And he just burst out laughing, and he said, I couldn't believe it. I was expecting a bear or a lion or a wolf, but I got a hamster. And it was his hamster that he had as a little boy, which was also, and just telling him to be childlike again, not to take things so seriously, and loving that childness, in that inner child, I suppose is the right word. So that is a beautiful message for him, and it was just very humorous as well. So really no expectations. And then another experience that I had with a participant in one of my workshops, who she was an absolute animal lover, but she was a very, very strong Christian, very committed Christian. And when we were doing the spirit guide meditation, she said she's not going to do it because it just doesn't go with her beliefs. She can't, she didn't feel that she should contact the spirit world, so to speak. And I said, no, that's fine. She said, no, well, she'll just sit there and listen and close her eyes. And then afterwards, she came to me in the break and she said, you know what? I was sitting there and I was listening to the beautiful words, and I asked Jesus if this was okay. And what happened? She received this image of Jesus with a little robin redbreast on his shoulder, which to her was a response. Her guide was Jesus. And it was okay for her to connect with the spirit world. And he had the robin redbreast, which is the representation of Christ energy as well, one of the forms. So that was also a beautiful way for her to get confirmation that this is okay, to work with animal guides. And it really is a connection to the divine. And then, of course, whoops, I missed one here. Of course, some of the forms of animals that come to you may be animals that do not occur in this physical world at this time. So things like unicorns or saber-toothed tigers or ancient animals that no longer exist, dinosaurs perhaps. And I've even heard of people having a cartoon as a guide, coming to them as a form of like Roger Rabbit or, Bugs Bunny. Or I can only think of rabbit cartoons. But, that's why I'm saying no expectations. Be completely open to whoever comes to you. And really keep the sense of lightness and joy with this meditation. But of course, it's also quite all right for you to get emotional. And perhaps I should have warned people to have a box of tissues next to them, because sometimes when we have that beautiful connection with our animal guides, it can be overwhelming and there can be tears of joy. And as you work with them, as you listen to their messages and feel their love and support from the other realms. Okay. So, without further ado, I keep saying that, don't I? We're going to let us do the meditation so that you can experience meeting your own animal spirit guide now. So, just before we start, I did want to have some music with this because I realized in the last meditation that I did, there were long silences and some people were worried that they'd actually lost the connection. But I couldn't get the music to work. The quality of the music just wasn't working over Big Marker with my voice. So we aren't going to have music, but just be aware there will be a few long silences where I let you just be in that space. So don't worry about losing the connection. My connection seems very strong at the moment, and as long as yours are, it all should be well. So just go with it. And even if you do lose the connection, just go with it and be in your own space. And I'm setting the scene here. And of course, this is a guided meditation, so follow my voice. But if I'm telling you to walk into a forest and you find yourself by the sea or the beach, don't worry about that. Just stay by the sea. See who comes to you. Just go wherever you are being asked to go. All right. Good. So everyone get ready. Again, just make sure you're really, really comfortable. It's always good to have your feet quite firmly on the ground if you can. Just have both soles of your feet on the ground. Otherwise, if you are sitting cross-legged, just feel your body against the support of the cushion or the chair that's holding you. So feel grounded while we are doing this meditation. It's always good to be grounded in this work. All right. So relax your body and close your eyes. And feel all your worries drain away. Listen to your breath. And feel that beautiful rose gold light surrounding you and filling you, making you feel warm and protected. You are in a place where you feel safe and comfortable. It is a place where there's only love, only good things happen here. In the distance, you see a light. Start moving towards it. The closer you get, the bigger the light becomes. Now move into and through the light. You have now entered a place where you feel absolute peace and harmony. A place where you are one with nature, part of the whole. A place of peace and understanding. Look around you. Notice the trees offering you shade from the sun and shelter from the rain. The plants are offering you healing and such pleasure. Smell the flowers. Feel the bark of the trees and listen to the buzzing of the bees who have come to welcome you. See the butterflies. They're like winged flowers showing you transformation and growth. Hear the birds singing their welcome and the animals playing amongst the trees and in the long grass. And listen to the waters, the stream tinkling its greeting to you, and see the fish gliding below the surface of the water. Enjoy the presence of all these beings and thank them for allowing you back into their world. Now you see an animal moving towards you. One specific animal. This is your teacher, your animal spirit guide. An animal who you have a strong connection with, and someone you've had a bond with since the beginning of your existence. This is someone who will help you on your path. Your animal spirit guide offers you their support and protection, their wisdom. So spend some time now getting to know him or her. Be aware of how you feel in their presence. Listen to any messages and ask any questions. This is a time of introduction. It is time for you to really get to know your guide. You are now ready to learn. Enjoy being with him or her. Acknowledge their presence in your life, and this is just the beginning of your journey. Your guide will be with you throughout. Share your feelings, express your fears, your hopes, your dreams. Your guide is always there to listen and to help you. Know that whenever you need help, all you need to do is call on your guide, and he or she will be there. Slowly become aware of other animals joining you. They have come to be near you and to give you their blessings. Know that you understand them and they understand you. You are part of their world. Acknowledge their presence in your life at all times as they acknowledge yours. Now the animals leave you with their blessings and leave you alone with your animal guide. Take heed of any specific message he has for you at this time, at this moment. Trust that message. And when you feel ready, start taking your leave, knowing that this is not goodbye, as they are with you always. Hold on to this feeling of peace and harmony, and remember any messages you received from your guide, or even just the feeling of being with him or her. And know that if ever you are in need or doubt, just reach out, just call on them, and they will be there. Trust that in your very heart and soul. Now start moving back towards the light through which you came, and move through it back towards your physical self. Bring with you the clear memory of the place you have visited, all the details of that place, all the animals that you met, and of course, the one animal that stood out and came towards you. And know too that this place is where you are now in your everyday life. It is part of this world. You don't have to look very far to find it. Remember that you are one with nature. You are part of the animal world. There is no separation. And you will continue to live in absolute harmony with this natural world. Now slowly start becoming aware of your body, aware of your breath. Listen to it. Feel the floor beneath you. Your hands resting in your lap. You can move your fingers and move your toes. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, everyone, I'm going to just give you a couple of moments just to come back to this place. I just slowly get used to my voice, talking to you now in the present time in this physical world. And then I think it would be wonderful if we could go straight into the questions, and even if it's just a sharing of any of the experiences that you had through that meditation. What I also want to just share with you is when you go out of the webinar, when it ends, if you go to the landing page, there'll be a link to a YouTube video that Trisha put together beautifully from this meditation that was recorded with the music of my dear friend Chris Tokalon, who is now in the spirit realms as well. And she put some lovely images to it. So instead of having to go and listen to the recording again, if you want to do this meditation again, you can go onto the YouTube link and revisit it. And the words may be slightly different, but it's basically the same thing. When I do meditations live, I always adjust it a little bit to what I'm feeling at the time. So enjoy that as a gift from me and Trisha and Janine and Sophia. So yeah, just enjoy it, and I hope this worked for you. I hope you got there and there weren't too many distractions, or the lack of music didn't bother you. Okay. So I'm going to just sit here and wait for any comments or questions. You can type it into the Q&A, which is now available. So just type it in, and you probably won't be able to see it up as you type, but I will be able to see it, and then I'll speak to it. Just while we're waiting, I have to say that I know Mandla is always, and the White Lions and Mara actually as well, is always with me on these calls, but there was a very strong presence of him here with us. And I've got a lovely picture of his eyes that I've used quite often in these webinars, but just those beautiful golden eyes that would change into the sun. As the sun changed, it would sometimes look, his eyes sometimes looked blue or green. And that's a specific quality of the white lions. Okay. So, yes, yay, some of them have come. The first animal I met was a deer who showed me a baby. Is this an inner child message or a physical child message? Well, it could be both. Really just feel into that. What did you feel? And when you ask that question to yourself, what is the first thing that comes? To me, you know, the deer is always such a gentle strength. And then if it was a physical child, there might be whatever's happening in your life. That might be a message specifically for you that only you understand. But it might be your inner child as well. Feel into that, Juliet, and see what comes for you. And Aldine, a magnificent reindeer, beautiful reindeer with magnificent horns or antlers. That's beautiful. And you know what's it's so funny, when I was looking for a picture for the questions page, and yeah, Gail, you've just mentioned that there was a little Bambi deer. It's a white-tailed deer, I think. And so many people do get deers male or female, stags or deers or bambies as their guides. And that is so much, to me, it is that gentle but very strong spirit. And Gail saying it was a stag that came to her with a doe by his side, said, even though I am female, I suppose that's Gail, yeah, I'm able to feel the crown of antlers on my head and feel the protection of antlers in my power and creations. And he let you ride him so that you could feel raised up. That's beautiful. And that's, in these meditations and in the spirit realms, we can do things that, and, we can fly, we can really become the animal, become our guide sometimes as well, really feel what it is like to have that energy instilled in us. So that's lovely, Gail. Thank you for that. And Anna got her silver panther animal guide. Wonderful, very strong, reassuring presence. And all 4 of your rescue cats joined you while meditating. That's beautiful. I always, I always encourage people in all my meditations to invite their animal friends to sit with them, because they just feel it so much, and they just go into that realm with you, that sort of zone with you. And it's quite interesting, when I first started learning meditation, it was all about, you have to be completely alone, close all the doors, make sure nobody bothers you. But for me, the animals always join, and it just makes it so much more beautiful. Heidi, if we have felt deep soul connections with certain animals since childhood, like large and small cats, and have felt they are more like our true human family, do you think we may have been such an animal in a past life? Perhaps, yes. I do sometimes feel so connected to lions that I feel myself as a lion sometimes. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience with anyone else, have almost like shape-shifting. And that's a realm that we can explore as well, that people might be a bit scared of, frightening sometimes, but I have actually experienced that, actually going into lion form. And there's such a familiarity with it. So we could well have been manifested in the physical realm as a lion at some part, cat or whatever animal you resonate with. Especially when we understand them so well. Why would we understand them so well if we haven't experienced what it's like to be them? Sometimes it's obvious. Again, that shift in consciousness. Okay, Laura, you didn't see your guide, but engulfed by a powerful, safe sensation, so much that you wanted to cry. You didn't receive any specific message, but maybe the sensation in itself was the message, like, I'm here, I exist, because you still feel trapped in disbelief sometimes. And interspecies communication is a spiritual journey, which, yes, I have said before, and you're afraid the rational side is still putting up a fight, it's holding on. But great, you're having beautiful surprises on this path of discovery. Yes, Laura, absolutely. It doesn't matter that you didn't see or weren't conscious of seeing the image of your guide, but you felt him or her, this powerful, safe sensation. So really feel that energy, whenever you're feeling like your rational side is going in, try and put that aside and just surround yourself with that powerful, safe sensation that you've just experienced. Because that really is, it's important, and it doesn't matter. Don't judge yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself, because you have it. I know you can do this, Laura. I've seen your surprises myself. So really just trust this journey and this path. So wonderful that you're still enjoying it and having these beautiful surprises. Thank you. Okay, Linda, and you were greeted by Mandla, and Mara can be your guide as well, as long as you feel worthy enough to receive her. you first saw him as a rainbow-colored butterfly on his right ear and then a hummingbird on his left. The butterfly represented lightness and play, to lighten up. Great. And the hummingbird represented both the rainbow bridge that links the spirit world with this world and the epic journey you're about to embark on. He invited you to curl up against his lion heart. Well, thank you, Linda, for sharing that. And, as always, I think when we are able to share these messages, just like when you're in a dream group or just in a sharing group, it is a message for everyone as well. This is obviously a personal, very personal message, but a lightness of being is so important in this work, and to be able to connect to that these other realms is also very important. So thank you for sharing that. That's very important. Okay, and Lynn, it's interesting that before I even asked you to feel and visualize your spirit guide, you saw an otter, which on investigation assures me that he is the one I saw while riding, and that he can and will help with the horses and other animals at our stables and in our wetlands. Your rescued dog and newly rescued kitty both lined up seriously and serenely to take part in the webinar. That's wonderful, Lynn, thank you. An otter, that's wonderful, and an otter represents such play. If you really go into their energy, it is such a playful, beautiful way of being. And an otter, they are so rare to see them nowadays. So to see one while you were out riding is just wonderful. Thank you. And Cheryl had a lioness come to you. Totally unexpected, wonderful, sharing confidence and strength for mothering your own child and others, and sharing that audacity is inherent to me, though I had not seen that before. Wonderful. Cheryl, sometimes, when we get into that space, as I always say, expect the unexpected, because and when it's unexpected, it's confirmation that it's real, isn't it? So, because you didn't just conjure it up, that came to you as a really strong message. So lovely. Thank you for sharing that, Cheryl. And Karina, hi Karina, lovely to see you here. Lovely to reunite with your wolf guide. The symbolic meaning of safety, and owl guide, meaning wisdom. And this time a new guide, which was a squirrel. It means joy and playfulness, which makes perfect sense in your life right now. Perhaps there's a missing part that you need to focus on. And actually, you also dreamt of a squirrel last night, so perhaps it was already trying to connect with me. So thank you. Thank you, Karina. That's beautiful. And so I've got a lot of squirrels in the garden here, and they just amuse me every day. I'm always laughing at them. They play so much. And of course, there's that serious side to them where they have to gather nuts and bury their nuts for the winter and prepare for life ahead. So, but that joy and playfulness always comes to the fore. So lovely, beautiful, beautiful message, again, for all of us as well. And Cheryl, also your message from your lioness that you have more power within for engaging in the world in general. Of course, and that so many of us feel powerless, and we are not. We have strong, strong voices, and with the support of energy from the other realms, from the support of nature and the animals, and from each other as well, like-minded people, you do have that strength and power. So be brave and just do it. Speak for the animals. And Deirdre, so your spirit guide, one animal is the same guide, a grey wolf. The other is more of a human spirit form. His name is Black Elk. You've asked them to actually take action. Often you're trying to help elk to navigate over or to find an opening in very high fences, or ask them to avoid hunters, to take a different route, and I've asked my guides to go out and to show them where to go for the opening or to get away. They both told me that is an okay request, but more guidance would be helpful. I'm not certain about that. What guidance, how much time to spend, how far to guide them. I guess it's different with each issue for the elk, bison, bear, but I'm still not certain about asking them to continue helping more on their own. I have concerns if that is okay or fair. There was also a very sweet white ermine I have not worked with before. I will check in more with the ermine. He can assist the subterranean animals, and of course he's quite cunning and playful. That's a really important point you've raised here, Deirdre, so thank you for that. We can ask our spirit guides to help the animals that they are representing, and they're coming to us in the animal form, and you are obviously really helping elk and the different wild animals in your part of the world. And when we communicate with them, Adrian, I don't know, I'm not sure how much you've studied with animal communication, but if you go back on if you look at the past webinars communicating with wild animals, you might get some more guidance on that. But really, we can communicate with the herds, and working through your spirit guide is completely okay to do that, to ask. And I remember, and this is a story from a long time ago, and I think it was before I even started this animal communication work. I came across a cat who was missing, and I was doing rescue work with feral cats at the time. And this cat, she was absolutely terrified. She'd run away from home. She was a rescue cat, but then had gone missing. And she had caught her, when I saw her and found her, she had caught her collar, had got sort of was wrapped around under her arm and around her neck, so really cutting into her and completely terrified of people. So I sat down with her and I was asking her to come towards me so that I had a scissors there so I could cut the collar off and I could get hold of her and take her home. And I had this image of an angel with wings, and it wasn't a lion, it was like a human form angel, and standing behind her. So maybe animal guides have angel guides. Maybe our animals in physical form have angel guides. But this angel was, and I asked the angel to help. I said, could you just guide her towards me? And I visualized and I saw the angel pushing this cat, and she was a white cat, with her wings towards me. So gently just encouraging her into my direction. And every time she pushed with the wings, the cat moved a little bit closer to me. And it took maybe about half an hour. And then eventually she came into my lap and I managed to cut the collar off. And, I've forgotten about that story actually. So you have reminded me of that. And just to say, absolutely, it's okay to ask your guides for help. But look at that webinar on communicating with wild animals, because that might help you in your quest as well. And Gail Nash is just sharing, and maybe in the chat, Gail, you can put that link in if anybody wants. Black elk is a well-known Indian elder in the USA. So there is a real black elk, physical black elk. So thanks for sharing that, Gail. Okay. So she's put it in the chat. So there's the link. Oh, Janine's put it in the chat. Thank you, Janine. All right. Okay, so that seems to be the end of our questions. Beautiful sharings. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm really glad that this was helpful for you, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. There's another one. Not long ago, you were gazing upon photos of Sekhmet statues in Egypt, and that night you were visited in a dream by an angel lady guide who hugged me, and I felt her purring like a cat. Beautiful, Heidi. Thank you. Yes, as I say, they come in so many forms, our guides. So just be completely open, and definitely in our dreams, whenever we dream, and it's dreaming is such a big subject in itself, but there's that quality of dreams when you've been visited by someone from the spirit world, whether it is a person or an animal that you know and have lost, not lost, but have gone into spirit, or if it's a guide that has come to give you support, and there is that certain quality, and just be open to that and recognize that. Okay. So thank you, everyone. And now I think I'm going to end off with just a closing meditation, just to really make sure you're grounded and connected. So again, just focus on your breath. You can close your eyes. Feel yourself becoming centered. Listen to your breath. Now take your focus down to your feet and feel them firmly connected to the earth beneath you. The soles of your feet on the solid ground beneath you. And then feel a golden rod of light moving from above you through the crown of your head, right down the center of your body, through your legs, into your feet, and then right down into the earth below you. And this rod of light is connecting you to the earth, and at the same time connecting you with the sun, with the heavens, with the stars, with the divine. And know that you can feel that divine connection, literally that divine connection, while your feet are firmly on the ground. And by feeling your feet firmly on the ground, feeling so connected to this planet that you live upon, nothing can rock you off center. Feel the support of the guides, the beings that you met, reintroduced, reunited, or introduced for the first time this evening. Feel their support. And let the knowledge of their support, their message, really just filter through into the cells of your body. So carry their message with you in your physical body. Carry them in your heart. And know that even at times when your brain can't remember their message, your heart and your body will. So take comfort from that, take support from that, take strength from that. And then once again, feel that beautiful connection that you have with all beings on this planet, all beings of the universe, all those that support this path of love, of absolute unconditional love, which is the energy that connects us all. It transforms all our fears into something beautiful and valuable. So once again, just take your focus down to your feet. Become aware of your body, of your breath. You can move your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you so much for that. It's a little bit shorter than my usual time for the webinars, but I think because it's just such a light, beautiful subject, and we didn't need to dwell too much on the theory about it. It was more about experiencing it for yourself. So I just want to wish all of you a beautiful holiday season, wherever you are going to be, whatever you're going to be doing. Just really have a wonderful rest and just be, if you can be in nature, and give yourself time to rest. And just on that note, some of you may remember that last year, the beginning of this year, from the first 7 days, I participated in the 7 Days of Rest campaign, and it is continuing for 2019, so the 1st to 7th of January. And although I'm not going to be doing new meditations like I did at the beginning of this year, the meditations are all recorded, and I will be sending out a mail with the links of that. So you can, if you did join in this year's in January, you can revisit that. And if you haven't, just register. It's for free meditations with different Animal Talk Africa people, some of my students, and then Sophia and Lorraine, a whole lot of people sharing beautiful meditations and experiences with their animal friends. So take that time to really rest and be well and be with your animals. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Wynter, for sharing this beautiful connecting meditation, and the best of relaxing Christmases to you as well.
Thank you, Janine, and as always for your continued wonderful support and holding everybody together like you do.
Oh, it's always my pleasure and my honor.
Okay. And yes, happy holy days, as Gail says. So yes, and there won't be, the next webinar of this type will be in January. I haven't set the date. I'm hoping to do a series of webinars on specific species, sort of communicating with cats and horses and dogs. So I'll be looking forward to putting that together for you. And yeah, go well, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of the day, whatever's left for you on this day, the 18th of December. With lots and lots of love, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Can I just check that that the link to the black elk came up? Can you see that? I wasn't sure if the chat, because it wasn't live, if the chat actually posted that or not. Can someone let me know if you saw that? Yeah, oh, brilliant. Okay, fantastic. That's good. And just a reminder that the recorded animal spirit guide webinar, not webinar, meditation is going to be on the under the landing page, so under the place where the recording comes up. Oh, you couldn't see it. Okay, Amanda, I'll share it again. So yeah, under the page where the recording comes up, if you scroll down, you'll see a link to this specific meditation. So as Wynter said, it won't be exactly the same, but it will be very close. So if you wanted to do the meditation again, rather than listening to the whole webinar, you can just click on that link. And as always, if you want to get hold of myself, my email address is, just typing it for you, Janine@animaltalkafrica.co.za. And yeah, any messages for Wynter, I can forward them. So wishing you all a wonderful holiday season, and hopefully a rest and some beautiful inner time for yourself. And see you all next year in 2019. Okay, bye-bye for now. Thank you, Laura. Thanks, Gail.